Do you remember in the last tutorial we spoke about ways you could practice the 16th note or semiquaver passages? So for instance the variation 1 and also the finale at the end, and I suggested you practice them in dotted rhythms and then staying on the first note, releasing and playing very quickly the 3 notes and then staying on the second. We also spoke about practicing at all separate bows. So I would suggest definitely continue with that work. But today we're going to continue our focus on bow distribution and also the stroke Martelé. Martelé. The Martelé is a very sort of percussive stroke and very similar to the collé, and I actually teach the collé first and in preparation of the Martelé stroke. So if we can just put our bows on the string, we're going to work a little bit at the Martelé stroke. So if you can just, let's place the bows in the middle, and you're going to put lots of weight there, and you're going to wobble the string and then pop. I'm going to do that again. Wobble the string and then pop. So you can take any string. And the first step to learning any stroke or absolutely anything is of course open strings. Then once you're feeling confident on the open strings, then apply it to scales. I love scales. Then after scales, apply it to an etude. So that could be Kaiser number 1. It could be Kreutzer number 2. Kreutzer number 7 is great for the Martelé. So find other etudes and exercises where you can apply it. I think this is useful. And the same is for tone production. Always, you know, you can start with an open string and then you can apply it to the scale and then to an etude, and then you can really focus on the it in a fully musical context in the piece. So let's try once again the Martelé, and you're just going to press down and then release completely. Now let's see if we can do the whole bow one. So we're going to just rest there and then zoom. And then again at the tip, just see if you can make the bow move. And again the heel, make the bow move. And at the tip. So you're making, when I say the string move, you're going to wobble the string, you're wobbling the string from side to side. And if you do it every day, this is going to really help your sound, and especially the sound that we need for the talus and also the articulation that we need for the Paganini. Let's apply this to variation 1. So we're going to do it without the left hand, but we're going to move the bow as though we are playing with the left hand. So that means that we're going to be on the D string for the first beat and the A string for the second beat. Coming back, we're going to do A string and then A string. Okay, so the first beat is just D string. We're going to stop. We're going to do the Martelé stroke. So we're going to rest the arm on the string, on the A string. We're going to wobble the string, and then we're going to release and move at the same time. And then no accent on the way back, so small amount of bow, stop, apply the weight. The moment you release, you zoom. So let's try that. So small amount of bow. Now to the A string. Did you use too much bow? Let's try again. Have a look at your bows. You only want to use a small amount of bow. We're exaggerating this. Stop. Okay. How much bow is that? Okay. apply the weight, and we're going to do the little Martelé stroke. And we're going to come back. Now, small amount of bow. Stop. Apply the weight. And go. Let's do that again. Okay? So, small amount of bows. Move the bow to the A string. Just feel that natural weight. Is everything free? Head's free, neck's free, shoulders free, knees unlocked. And now small amount of bow. Stop, apply the weight and the Martelé. Okay, let's put that with the left hand. So, slowly. Apply the weight. We're going to do our little Martelé stroke. Everything soft on the bow. Just feel the weight. Give the string a wiggle and apply the weight. String a wiggle and apply the weight. And that's how you can practice variation 1. Let's apply the Martelé to variation 2. So I would suggest that you practice this in the same way, just on open strings, so that your arm knows where it's going, so where the string crossings happen, and then with the left hand. So this is going to be in the middle to upper half, so you're going to place it in the middle. Just to recap, you're going to make sure that you wobble the string. And remember, when you release, you really have to let go. So that's where you're always going to be guided by your ear. So if the sound is still pressed, it means that you haven't released enough. So if it's sort of like this, and it stays solid, you haven't let go. So you should, when you let go, if you can just lean in, wobble and just let go. Lean in, wobble, and then let go. Then lean in, wobble, and the minute you let go, you're going to move the bow. You're going to lean in, wobble, and then let go. Lean in, wobble, then let go. So after you've done open strings, then you put it together with the left hand. And here we need the left hand before the bow. So let's try that. So we're going to play first finger, everything ready, head free, shoulders free, smiling, breathing, ready, and left hand there, everything in place, free, soft, and soft, release, G string, first finger down, everything soft. Everything soft, and first finger down, third finger there and ready. So you move very, very slowly and just gradually increase the speed. So keeping free. Then you can start to add a little bit of vibrato. Now, do you see that I also use sort of flat hair? So that's very useful, especially when we're moving to the tip of the bow, because the tip is of course the weakest part of the bow. And unless I want a really sort of light sound, I will keep the bow hair flat. So that's how you practice the Martelé stroke in variation number 2. So in this video we've spoken about bow distribution, we've spoken about Martelé, and I'd like to introduce one last stroke which is really important, and that's staccato. and it's really important because it's going to help you in variation 5, and especially when practicing, say, bars 109 to 113, because it allows us to learn how to divide the bow when we have a long sort of legato. It also helps us to release the left hand, and it helps us to feel every single note in the bow. So if we can just try, we're going to try first open strings, just so that we feel what that staccato bowing is. So if you can think about it, I've spoken about the Martelé. If you can think about it as sort of Martelé slurred, so you've got one Martelé, and then another one, and then another one, and then another one, and they're each popping, and then you would do 4, and then you would do 6, and then 8, and just rest, lots of weight, then release, rest, lots of weight, then release, rest, lots of weight, and release. And we're going to be doing that with both hands. I would suggest first you do this open strings, like we've done with the other variation. So that will be E. If I just show you the first 2 bars, so starting from 109, that will be like this. And then once you're comfortable with the open strings, then you put it with the left hand. Now the secret is that the left hand always needs to be down ready before the bow. And for instance, in bar 111, you want to pre-hear and pre-feel that G, because that G needs to be really in the 5th position on the A string before you put it down. So let me show you what I mean. So bar 109, release, I'm sliding down, 4th finger's ready, I pre-heard that note first and then sung it, and then if it was out of tune when you go to do it, then you need to do it a few times. So you pre-hear, you pre-feel. It's sort of like in archery where you're aiming for the bullseye, or in basketball. How many times can you get it in the hoop? Once you get the hang of it, you'll find that you hit it. So going on and releasing, pre-hearing this octave, releasing. So this is a great way to work on actually any passage, because you're not only learning how to divide the bow and learning how to distribute the bow, but you're also working the left hand and making sure it stays free. So just to recap on what we have discussed in today's tutorial, we have covered the sulla touche, appassionato, sostenuto. We also spoke about tremolo, about bow distribution, and about sustaining those long lines. We also, in the Paganini, we explored Martelé and Staccato, and we spoke about the importance of releasing tension. I also gave you useful exercise in the first part of the video to release tension, which then went on into exploring the tremolo. And all of these, it's been mostly technical work in this video, but it's important to lay the foundations before you really start building your house. So I hope you find some of the exercises useful, please share your videos. So I think it's something like #Benedetti Sessions, or you can do #practice with Helena. Send them in. I'd love to see them, and look forward to seeing you soon.